Have you ever caught yourself missing someone who hurt you, manipulated you, or made you question your own reality and then immediately felt confused by it? You know the relationship was unhealthy. You know leaving was the right decision. Yet somehow you still think about them and still miss them. And sometimes that can make people wonder if they made a mistake by walking away. If you've ever felt that conflict, stay with me, because in this video, I'm going to talk about why missing someone is not proof that they were good for you, why your brain can hold on to toxic relationships long after they're over, and why this experience is actually much more common than most people realize. One of the biggest misconceptions people have after leaving a narcissistic or emotionally abusive relationship is believing that healing should mean never missing the person again. But human emotions don't work that way. Missing someone is not a reflection of their character. It's often a reflection of attachment, habit, familiarity, and the emotional investment you made over time. Think about how much space that person occupied in your daily life. They may have been the first person you texted in the morning. They may have been the person you shared stories with, argued with, worried about, or tried endlessly to understand. Even if the relationship was painful, it was still a significant part of your routine. When that relationship ends, your life doesn't just lose the person, it loses the structure that formed around them. What many survivors struggle with is separating the person from the hope they carried. Often, what they miss isn't the reality of the relationship. They miss who they believe the person could become. They miss the good moments. They miss the promises. They miss the future they imagined. The problem is that the mind tends to replay highlights while gradually minimizing the daily stress, confusion, and emotional exhaustion that existed alongside them. Here's an example. Imagine someone who spent years trying to make a relationship work. They experienced criticism, manipulation, and constant emotional ups and downs. Eventually, they leave. A few months later, they find themselves missing that person every day. They begin wondering if the relationship was really that bad. But when they look closely, they realize they're not replaying the arguments, the silent treatments, or the anxiety. They're replaying the vacation photos, the occasional affectionate moments, the times when things seemed hopeful. In other words, they're remembering the exceptions rather than the pattern. That realization can be incredibly important because missing a memory is very different from wanting to return to a reality. Another reason people miss toxic partners is because emotional bonds don't disappear the moment a relationship ends. The nervous system often takes much longer to catch up with the decision your mind has already made. You may intellectually understand why you left, while emotionally still grieving what was lost. Those two experiences can exist at the same time. And perhaps most importantly, missing someone does not mean you should go back. Many people assume that healing means feeling nothing. In reality, healing often means feeling something and making healthy choices anyway. It means acknowledging the sadness without allowing it to rewrite history. It means recognizing that loneliness and longing are temporary emotional states, not instructions. Over time, something interesting begins to happen. The intensity of those feelings start to decrease. Not because you're forcing yourself to forget, but because you're building a life that no longer revolves around that relationship. New routines develop, new experiences emerge, more of your attention shifts towards your present life rather than your past one. But here's what many people don't realize. Missing them isn't the final stage of healing. At some point, something else begins to happen. The thoughts become less frequent, and the emotional charge starts to fade. And one day you realize they aren't occupying your mind the way they once did. That moment can be one of the most encouraging signs that you're moving forward. And understanding why it happens can make the healing process feel a little less confusing. I'll talk about that next. See you at the next video.